there, and welcome back. Again, Deidre Martinez, CEO of the Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today in our series of candidate forums. In this round, we're going to have
46 years. I worked at Kohler Company for 44 years. Past UAW 833 member. I enjoyed working there. I had many different positions. And while I was also working at Kohler, I was also an adult 4-H member for 19 years. Had county and club positions there. And then since retiring in 2018, I became involved with Kohler Andre State Parks. And I am their current Friends of Kohler Andre Park president. I'm also a board member of the Friends of Wisconsin State Parks. And the reason I've decided to run for alderman in District 1 is mostly because of a lack of responsiveness from the current alderman person. I understand she has had some health issues, and that's probably one of the reasons why she hasn't been very responsive. But besides that, I feel I can be part of lowering everyone's taxes, increasing affordable housing, outdoor recreational opportunities, and also, as you've probably heard, there has been a lack of transparency from city government. I think I can be part of that also.
Thank you so much. And that will lead us right into our first question, talking about the accountability for elected officials. There have been concerns about alderpersons being absent from required council meetings. So what is your stance on ensuring that alderpersons are present and accountable to their constituents? And additionally, what measures would you propose to improve attendance and accountability for elected officials?
I believe a person should be present for all their meetings that they are scheduled to be at. If for some reason, I understand things do come up and excuses can be handed out, but if that happens on a regular basis, I think it's time to have that person replaced.
Thank you. And, further even going beyond the transparency of the elected officials, because certainly elected, has a responsibility to the constituents, but common council members also have a responsibility to the constituents in holding the staff of the city of Sheboygan responsible, and for there to be transparency and accountability in that space. Is there anything that you might do differently than what you've seen over the past few years that you would think this should look different, or hey, I think it's working great and we should continue to do the same?
I don't think so. I have attended numerous committee meetings, and the people on those committees give a lot of information, and it is uplifted to the Common Council at some point, so I wouldn't change anything there.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, we're going to transition and talk a little bit about economic development and tourism. Certainly, the city of Sheboygan has grown, continues to grow from a development perspective pretty significantly over the past few years. I've only lived in Sheboygan for 7 years, and what I've seen in that short period of time has been nothing short of pretty phenomenal. But it also does mean that it creates, different challenges and opportunities and, things of that nature. So when we look to continue to promote economic development in the city of Sheboygan, what are some measures that you would take in order to ensure that the quality of life for those already living here continue to maintain and have sustainability as we're welcoming new neighbors and new opportunities and challenges?
I think a big part of that would be our police department. I think we have a very fine police department. We need to maintain that. The number of officers may have to be increased. And of course, our fire department is also top-notch.
Okay, thank you. And, thinking about economic development, it's been a large topic of discussion, the South Point Business Park on the south side of Sheboygan. This was readied, if you will, for new development opportunities several years ago, and it still has zero development taking place in that space. So what specifically would you encourage the city does differently moving forward to really stimulate and get some movement on that project?
It may boil down to just a lack of advertisement as far as what's available in the city for development. So maybe we just need to get out there more and tell the companies what's available here as far as amenities and housing, and go from there.
Okay. And tourism, playing a significant role in the economic development space of the city of Sheboygan. We have become largely a tourism destination. Some say we might be the next door county. We're gunning for them. But what it also means is that, we have to rely on partners here in the city of Sheboygan to help make sure that we are a tourism destination and we are marketing. What it also means is that the city of Sheboygan passes through roughly $1.8 million in fiscal year 2023 to the destination marketing organization that has been contracted. There have been concerns about transparency and their lack of willingness to work with other community partners. I'm curious as to what you might know about that. Do you believe that the destination marketing organization has been transparent, and would you do anything different from a tourism perspective if elected?
To be honest, I have not heard of that organization, so there does need to be more transparency.
Okay, thank you. And, thinking of that transparency and communication piece beyond the external contracts with the city, there've been a lot of conversation around this election talking about the transparency of government workers, even, when constituents call into the city or when they're needing help from different departments, that there's been a general lack of what is felt to be maybe not as responsive as they could be or should be, and for a variety of different reasons. So, can you speak to the, what maybe 3 specific actions you would take to improve transparency, communication, and responsiveness between the city and its constituents?
The city has a newsletter, and I personally would submit an article each month regarding District 1. That would be one item. Second, I would hold town hall meetings at the Meade Public Library and perhaps invite another city official or public department along with me once in a while to help answer questions, depending on what the residents in my district want to hear. And the third one, just get out in the public more. I don't think I've ever seen our current alderperson out in public, so I would do that also.
Thank you so much. So, another big concern really for the residents of the city of Sheboygan is the infrastructure and basic services, our streets being probably one of the more popular items discussed, or potholes. With these concerns, I'd be curious to learn from you, Randy, if elected, what specific infrastructure improvements would you prioritize in your district, and how would you secure funding for these projects?
Well, funding is always going to be difficult. It depends on what's available in the city budget. As far as the streets themselves, I believe there is a area on the city's website where you can report potholes, and every year the city has a published list of streets that are going to be repaired for the current year.
Okay. Do you feel the city is currently doing enough of its part on an annual basis to keep up with the streets crumbling?
Well, we live in an area, of course, with the winter months, and that has a detrimental effect on streets, especially ones that are in disrepair already. And once again, it all depends on what the city's budget is.
Okay, thank you. There's also been a lot of discussion around housing affordability and availability. The city is considering zoning updates to allow for more housing options across the whole city. Do you support zoning changes to permit more diverse housing options? And what safeguards would you propose to maintain a character of existing neighborhoods?
Yes, I would be in favor of zoning changes. And then I think it goes back to the police department just having enough people on the force to maintain areas that need patrolling.
Okay. And there have been, speaking of affordable housing in general, there has been a lot of discussion around affordable housing and what does it mean to you versus what does it mean to me. There have been concerns about putting affordable housing into certain neighborhoods, kind of this not in my backyard mentality. Can you speak to that at all? Do you feel that all communities in the city of Sheboygan should have affordable housing options for all residents?
I think it depends on where the areas are available that can have the affordable housing. I don't think there shouldn't be a restriction on where the housing is put up.
Okay. And another big area of interest in the city of Sheboygan, traffic safety and, of course, property crime are concerns in any community. How would you expand or enhance public safety initiatives in District 1 if elected?
I think there needs to be collaboration between the police department and public officials to see where the areas of concern are and then increase patrols in that area.
And when you say increased collaboration, can you tell me what does that look like for you? What does increased collaboration between these different departments look like?
Just better communication.
Okay. Thank you. And I know that we've talked a lot about public safety, we've talked a lot about economic development and growth, we've talked a lot about transparency. Tell us, what are some things that you would like voters to know about you as they go to the polls on April 1st or, of course, embark on early voting prior to? What are things about you that maybe they haven't learned yet and you'd like them to know about why they should support you and how you would support them in return?
I'm committed to the city of Sheboygan. I think that's kind of obvious, seeing as how I've lived here 71 plus years. I'm also a member of the Uptown Social. I volunteer there on a weekly basis, and I'm a member of the Senior Services Commission also, which oversees Uptown Social. And by the way, we are going to have a broad fry there. This is my advertisement for Uptown Social on April 5th. So I hope to see many of you there. I love living in the city of Sheboygan.
And, thinking about some of the things that are currently happening with so much growth and so much, stimulation and development, some residents have been a little uneasy. Some partners have been a little uneasy, thinking, wow, are we moving faster than we can really, catch up to at this point with the fountain parks, with the walking bridges, with Evergreen Park, with the marina. So when we're looking at the big design of the city of Sheboygan and some of the concerns that many of the members of the community are bringing, to the surface currently, what say you? What are your thoughts on those different developments? And do you think that we could be doing it differently as it relates to communicating those messages and acknowledging the requests of our residents?
Regarding the marina, I don't own a boat, but the marina is there. I think we need to maintain it, but perhaps downscale it, and we need to make sure that it produces a profit rather than being a detriment to the city. With Evergreen Park, I have heard many comments against the proposed concept plan. It's a difficult choice, but the residents in that area, I believe most of the residents in that area are against the concept plan. They don't believe Evergreen Park should be a destination for mountain bikers. There are paths in there that do need to be improved, and there needs to be signage on those paths. But some of the other amenities that they are proposing, I'm not in favor of those. I think there are better locations better suited for that. And we also have other mountain bike areas in the county, I believe in Greenbush and in the Rocky Knoll area.
Okay. Thank you. And as you've been out campaigning, as you're running for District 1, what sorts of conversations have you had with some of your potential or future constituents, if you will? What are some of the things you're hearing from your own district about the needs of the city, things that you would like to bring forward?
I haven't heard a lot of comments. There have been a few that are not in favor of the marina, and as I just mentioned with Evergreen Park, the residents in that area are not in favor of the concept plan.
Okay. No other concerns coming out of District 1 that they've brought to your attention as of yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, the day is young. Now we're just inviting it.
Thank you for that. That's what I'm here for.
Oh my goodness. Wonderful. Well, really, thank you so much for, coming and having this conversation. I know sometimes when it's, one-on-one like this, it makes it a lot more difficult to make it conversational in this space. But before we do, move forward, I would love to just give you an opportunity to say what you'd like to say to voters as they head to those polls on April 1st. And then that will conclude this segment of our candidate forums for the day.
Well, thank you once again for inviting me. I have enjoyed being here, and I would appreciate your vote on April 1st if you live in District 1, Wards 1 and 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for being here with us today and giving us an opportunity to get to know you better.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Randy.